Hello, you are with BBC News, coming to you live from the red carpet at London's South Bank Centre for the 79th annual BAFTA Film Awards. The great and the good of the movie industry from around the UK and around the world are here for tonight's awards. I'm Rich Preston. I'm joined by our entertainment correspondent Colin Patterson. Also on the red carpet we have our culture and media editor Katie Razzle and our correspondent Lizo Mazimba grabbing guests as they go down the red carpet. Colin, great to see you. Good to be here.
Back again.
Give us a quick preview about what we can expect tonight.
Tonight, I'm seeing this as a battle, and battle is the word, between two films. One battle after another has the most nominations. 14, Leonardo DiCaprio, Paul Thomas Anderson. And the film with the most nominations has won 3 years in a row at the BAFTAs. But this is the BAFTAs. And the BAFTAs often does what BAFTA does and goes more British. That is why I am thinking Hamnet is going to prove a huge, huge opponent to it tonight. It's done better here than it has done at the Oscars. It's got 11 nominations compared to the 8 at the Oscars here because it's picked up extra nominations in the acting categories like Paul Mescal and Emily Watson, who I believe we are going to be hearing from very soon.
Okay, Colin, stick with us for the time being. There is another big name we're expecting here tonight. Paddington Bear, Mr. Bear to you and me. He appeared earlier on. He was one of the first guests to arrive. Let's take a look.
This is lively talkback.
And there we go, Paddington arriving there earlier on.
I'm not convinced he listened to the black tie memo.
I was going to say, will he be banned from BAFTA for not wearing
I really
the black
hope
tie?
so. He was disrespecting the red carpet there. No black tie at all. Paddington actually, 2 BAFTA nominations. Back in 2015, the first Paddington film nominated both for Best British Film and Best Adapted Screenplay.
And with that, let's go to Lizo Mazimba.
Yes, I'm here on the red carpet with Peter Mullen, nominated for Best Supporting Actor for the film I Swear, about a young boy with Tourette syndrome. Peter,
how are you?
What an amazing piece of work. I mean, what was it like being part of this true story?
It was exciting. I mean, I was only on it for about 3 days, and even in those 3 days I could tell that something was very special about the film, mainly through Robert's performance. And I knew Robert from before for Lord of the Rings, but as we were working you could see what he was doing with it was special, and that immediately you realise that the film will rise really around his performance, and a lovely script that his performance is the absolute centre of it. And I've been so delighted with people's reactions to it. That they really relate to it and have thoroughly enjoyed it, and they've enjoyed it in the cinema, and you can get it on sticks for free, so it's amazing that they're paying 15 quid to watch it in the cinema, and for some reason they all take their mums. I've not quite understood why you would want to take your mum to a film about Tourette's, but hey, says a lot about mums, I guess.
It is about Tourette's, but it's really about understanding and acceptance, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's about, obviously it's a comedy about compassion, accepting people who may be different from who you are, and embracing it, and not just promoting it as a value, but it's a kind of film that reminds you need to fight for that. In these days of Farage and Trump and all that lot, you need to fight to maintain the value of compassion and love and diversity. You have to fight for that. It's not, you can't just sit back and believe it's a woke value. These are human values, and this film really addresses that, which I love about it.
Peter Mullen, thank you for joining us. Best Supporting Actor nominee for the film I Swear. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
That was Peter Mullen talking, and we should point out that Farage and Trump are politicians who people support as well as the opposite. So there are many points of view on them and their policies.
Lisa, thank you very much for now. Colin, really fantastic to hear Peter Mullen talking there. And you and I were discussing this the other day. The character, the actual real-life character, John Davidson, someone I was aware of growing up. You too, those documentaries that came out about him on the BBC in the 90s and early noughties. And this movie, just absolutely incredible. And he's up for 2 key awards himself. Robert Aramayo, who played John Davidson.
That's right, he's nominated for the Rising Star Award and he's nominated in Best Actor. And Peter Mullen, nominated for the BAFTAs for the first time for 23 years. He was nominated before for the screenplay of The Magdalene Sisters back in 2003, and it was nominated for Outstanding British Film. And if he wins tonight, he will be the first Scot ever to win Best Supporting Actor at the BAFTAs.
Fascinating. Well, we will follow those developments. And I should tell you as well, the actual ceremony tonight kicks off at 7 p.m. You can watch the whole thing live on the BBC. It'll be on BBC One, as I say, 7 o'clock this evening. Now let's go back to Lizo. He spoke to someone else a little earlier.
Joining me on the red carpet now is Emily Watson, nominated for Best Supporting Actress for, of course, Hamnet. So, Emily, you have such a wonderful, long association with Shakespeare. You must have been thrilled to have been associated and be such a part of this project.
Absolutely. I mean, my husband was actually born just around the corner from William Shakespeare in Stratford-on-Avon, and Shakespeare has been a very big part of both our lives. So when this came around, it felt like, you know, a lovely full circle moment, and very special for me.
And your character has a wonderful arc, going from hostility to affection in this story that's filled with so many emotions.
Yeah, I mean, that really wasn't my plan. I meant to stay hostile, but Jessie just kind of melted me.
And of course you have a long association with both Paul and Jessie. You performed with them before. This is your second time playing Paul's mother?
I know. Very greedy, I know.
What is it that's so special about them?
Well, they both have a sort of fire and a hunger and a openness, honesty. They're just free. They're just incredibly talented, but they're both really great leaders because they lead with joy. They're both very kind and loving, and you know, it's a real pleasure to be around them.
Thank you for your time, Emily. Enjoy the ceremony.
And that was Emily Watson there speaking to Lizo earlier on. Now, of course, she's up for her award in Hamnet.
Best Supporting Actress for playing Shakespeare's mum.
And that leads us nicely into the Best Film category, arguably the big one of the night, and Hamnet is right up there.
What a story this film is. So Sam Mendes was asked to direct it, BAFTA award-winning director of American Beauty. He decided he wasn't the right person for it, came on board as a producer, decided the right person to direct it was Steven Spielberg. Went and asked him. Steven Spielberg thought, I'm not the right person to direct this film either, but I want to be a producer, and we'll hear more about that in a minute.
Yeah, come back to that later. Let's go back to Lizo for now.
Yes, thanks, because I'm with Jessie Ware, who's going to be performing at tonight's ceremony. This must be quite daunting with the kind of audience and attention the BAFTAs get.
No, not at all. No, this is exciting. I'm really honoured to be singing. It's a really special part of the show. It's remembering all the people that we've lost this year. So yeah, it's an honour.
When did they ask you to do this?
Maybe like 6 weeks ago. So I've been practising a lot. So hopefully it's good.
As you say, it is a very emotional part of the show. Do you have to put a lot of thought into both, the music and the performance?
Of course, and you have to pay respect, and I think the song is so emotive and beautiful, and it's The Way We Were by Barbra Streisand, and of course Robert Redford died this year, so it's particularly poignant, and I've thought about it a lot, and I think it will be special.
And that aside, a lot of people here tonight, stars and people behind the camera, anyone you particularly want to get a selfie with?
I mean, Odessa next to me. She's amazing. I'm obsessed with her. And I mean, my schoolgirl crush was Leonardo DiCaprio, so just to see him on the front row may be quite kind of mind-boggling.
Oh, well, hope it goes well this evening. Jessie, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care. That was Jessie Ware, who's going to be performing at tonight's ceremony. In just a few minutes' time, we'll be talking to Odessa Zion, who's up for Best Supporting Actress for the film Marty Supreme, opposite Timothy Chalamet.
Lizo, thank you very much for now. And perfect segue, we were just about to talk about Marty Supreme. It's another contender up for Best Film, Colin.
And it's another film that has done better at the BAFTAs than it has done at the Oscars. 11 nominations here. And the one that surely it is going to win will be Best Actor for Timothy Chalamet, because this is a man who has almost done the perfect campaign for this film. He has been everywhere with it. Famously, when I interviewed him, he even dropped that quote about how Susan Boyle was one of his heroes, very much playing to the British audience. I think that might have won him some votes at the BAFTAs. And then since then, he's been winning Best Actor at the Golden Globes. He's won at the Critics' Choice Awards, and he's gone from the very kind of brash, I'm the star, to I'm humble, I'm not going to make a mistake, I'm going to clean up this award season. And he has absolutely been doing that for this part as a 1950s table tennis hustler slash heister. And when I asked him to describe the film, he said, listen, this is basically a film about a man being an idiot in his 20s, which kind of sums it up.
It's interesting you talk about the publicity campaign he spearheaded and describing him as the star of the film, because he is also getting a producer credit in the film. What was his role in making the picture?
Yeah, he was very much one of the people. When you get Timothy Chalamet on board, it helps you get finance for a film, and that's why he's ended up being a producer in that role. And if it wins Best Picture tonight, he will be one of the people that then gets to go on stage and win a BAFTA. You get people like Brad Pitt that do that a lot now, produce their own films. So you have more and more becoming common to have stars who manage to get the producer credit for themselves. I don't think it is going to win Best Picture overall. In fact, there is even some suggestions that if there's a shock like a Robert Aramayo from I Swear coming through and winning Best Actor, then Marty Supreme could win none out of its 11 nominations, which would make it the equal biggest BAFTA loser in history with Finding Neverland and Woman in Love. But I think Chalamet will win. I think
You think he's going to win Best Actor?
I think he will. I think he will. But Robert Aramayo could be the outsider if Britain gets behind one of its own, because we've not had a British winner at the BAFTAs in an acting category for the last 3 years. It's about time.
And he is the only Brit in the male,
in the Best
leading
Actor.
male
Yep,
category.
you're absolutely right.
So let's stick with Best. In fact, let's go back to Lizo, who's got someone else we can hear from.
Yes, thank you very much. One of the films being talked about quite a lot is, of course, Hamnet, and I'm joined by two of its young stars. So what's it like being part of a film like Hamnet and the reception that it's received?
It's incredible, honestly. It's definitely a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's very few films that come around that are like this, that are this sort of spiritual and beautiful and was such a collaborative experience and really sort of transcended onto the screen. It doesn't happen often, so it's lucky that we both got to be a part of it.
Now, without giving away too many spoilers, there's a lot of emotion in this film. How hard was that to play on screen, some heartbreaking moments?
I think that with acting, you really have to, it's not about like thinking about how hard it was, it's about thinking about how it was to play the character, just like the emotions of it, and you have to really feel the emotions. So I don't think it's necessarily like specifically hard. I think it's just, you kind of have to just really get in the zone and feel the emotions that the character would feel,
I think in this one especially, it's like Chloe Zhao was the type of person who creates that environment so that you can be emotional, but it's a safe space to do so and it doesn't feel terrifying.
And how hopeful are you for Chloe Zhao in the director category and for Paul Mescal and Jessie Buckley in actor and actress?
I mean, I'm extremely hopeful, I think, but I also feel like with these things, it's like, it's just the nomination, it's the nod, it's like we're here, it's part of like a few select films that got nominated this year out of all the films that have been made. I think that's just like, incredibly lucky and excited to just be here.
Well, enjoy the ceremony and congratulations on a movie which I know has had audiences up and down the country in tears for the last few weeks. Thank you so much. Two of the young stars of Hamnet, and we'll be talking to more people as they keep coming on the red carpet.
Lizo, thank you very much. So two of the stars there from Hamnet. Now let's continue to rattle through the best film category. Hamnet and Marty Supreme we've done. One battle after another. It's getting a lot of attention.
Yeah, it's got the most nominations this time. It's got 14, and for the last 3 years, the film with the most nominations has gone on to win. For people who haven't seen it, it's Leonardo DiCaprio playing a sort of retired revolutionary in many ways who has to kick back into action when his daughter is kidnapped by white supremacists, with Sean Penn playing one of the most evil characters in cinema this year. And what's interesting is just how much money this film cost. Figures have been putting it at 160 million as the budget. And if we go back a year, David Zaslav, the boss of Warner Brothers, was thinking of sacking the bosses of the studios at Warner Brothers, because after Joker 2 flopped, he thought they were spending too much money on projects that weren't necessarily going to be hits. Mike DeLuca and Pan Abday were the bosses. Then he has ended up with not this, but Sinners, absolutely massive.
Absolutely incredible. We will come back to Sinners later on. Colin, for now, thank you. Back to Lizo Mazimba.
Thank you very much. I'm joined by one of the Best Actress nominees on the red carpet, Renata Reinsve, for the film Sentimental Value. Now, your character is an actress. Could you relate to some of her emotions and feelings to this film?
Absolutely. I think I can relate to the fact that you can understand something about yourself or something about someone else through acting. It's like an exercise in empathy, and I feel it's also, if I've seen actresses or actors going into a role with, everything that they have, I've always appreciated so much, because I learned something about myself, and it's, and that's what Nora does. But she kind of escapes herself a little too much that I don't recognize. Yeah.
But of course, what drives this movie, it's the dynamics within a very complicated family. Those kind of things must always be interesting and powerful to play.
It's very interesting. I feel also the family dynamic is where it's formative years, and you carry that throughout a life, and it goes in generations, so you carry stuff you don't even realize. I think if you should start anywhere to help other people, it's by going back to that and really discovering something in that, and I really feel that is what this movie talks about.
And you must be pleased to, as well as your own nomination, seeing some of your co-stars and your director nominated as well.
Yes, we're so happy. It feels like such a teamwork, and that we had all these nominations across, like actors and directors, and it's really wonderful, because that's what it feels like. It feels like the whole collective moving forward. Yeah. So.
Renata Reinsve, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the ceremony and good luck tonight. That was Best Actress nominee Renata Reinsve for the film Sentimental Value, a film not in the English language, but a film that represents how much more award ceremonies like the Oscars and the BAFTAs have been embracing films that they call international rather than homegrown.
Lizo, thank you very much for now, and we will be talking about Sentimental Value in a few moments' time, because it is also up in the Best Film category. For now, though, I want to bring in our culture and media editor, Katie Razzle, who is further down the red carpet. Katie, good to see you. This is a huge night, the biggest night in British cinema, but of course we have the Oscars just a month and a bit away. How much is the BAFTA award ceremony being watched on the other side of the pond, with Oscar voting opening next Thursday? Oh, unfortunately, I think we have a bit of an issue with Katie Razzle. We will try to come back to Katie a little later on. Okay, so Colin, let's discuss Sentimental Value.
Yeah.
It's up for Best Film and Best Actress, as we heard.
Yeah.
What did you make of it?
Well, for a foreign language film to be nominated both for Best Picture and for foreign language, when it's the only one, you feel it has got to be an absolute lock-in for Best Foreign film. For people who haven't seen it, it's about an aging film director who hasn't made a film for 15 years, played by Stellan Skarsgård, who's nominated for Best Supporting Actor. What a career he's had. He's 74, starred in everything from Mamma Mia to Pirates of the Caribbean, but tonight that could be his first BAFTA win.
Interesting. We'll pick that up later on, and we'll talk about Best Foreign Film a little later as well. Let's go back to Katie Razzle now, our culture and media editor. Katie, we lost you earlier on, but good to see you now. So we were talking about the BAFTAs being the biggest night in British cinema, but the Oscars just a month and a bit away. How much are the BAFTAs a bellwether for what we see in Hollywood?
Rich, I have to tell you, Rich, that I cannot hear a word you're saying because it is so noisy here now. It really is hotting up. The one thing I've got to say to you, I think you're asking me about the Oscars and whether the BAFTAs is being a bellwether. Before we get into that, I am going to say, though, that the British sunshine has come out for the first time in weeks for the best night, the biggest night in British film. When the Hollywood stars come calling, the British weather has to deliver. So it is. So we're all a bit warmer than we normally are on these February days. When it comes to this BAFTAs, though, I think the way I see it, this awards race is really like a juggernaut that builds and builds. And the BAFTAs, of course, it's really important in its own right, really important for British cinema particularly. But it is also a very glamorous destination en route to LA because, of course, all roads in the end do lead to Los Angeles. I imagine Colin has already been talking to you about this, but if you look back at the acting categories, if we're trying to decide whether this really is a bellwether or not for the Oscars, if you look back at the last 2 years, every single actor who won in one of the acting categories, so all 4 categories, if they won here, they then went on to win at the Oscars. You have to go back to the 3 years, to 2023, when that did not happen in a couple of the categories. Of course, there can be differences. I mean, last year when it came to Best Film, here in the UK, the BAFTA juries voted for Conclave, the papal drama, whereas in America, that Best Film BAFTA went to Anora. So it's not as simple as that, but I'm sure you've been discussing with Colin. In the end, this is about rewarding British talent in front of and behind the camera when they can, and so that's why you have these extra categories here, like Outstanding British Film. And I know I did hear earlier you were talking about Robert Aramayo and that film, I Swear. I think, well, if they haven't come past, they're about to come past the team behind that incredible film. They are up, of course, for Outstanding British Film, along with a host of other fabulous British films. But it is hotting up. This red carpet is getting busier. And I'm going to see whether you can ask me a question, but I'm not sure I'm going to be able to hear you an answer.
Well, I'll try, Katie, and if I can't talk to you down the line, I'll just shout up the red carpet. You talked about the Britishness there of the BAFTAs. There has been criticism in the past that they've not been British enough. What do you make of that? How British are the BAFTAs?
Well, they always try and tread this line, don't they? Because, of course, it's about the British Academy. It's called the British Academy Film Awards, and it is that for a reason. It is celebrating Britain and British acting talent. But much of the films that are being nominated, that are being talked about, they are these big Hollywood studio films. Particularly this year, if you look at, it's a sort of battle between Warner Brothers and Universal because of Sinners and one battle after another. But of course, Hamnet is very much a British film. We may not think of it like that because its leading stars are obviously Irish, Jessie Buckley and Paul Mescal. It was back though and began with a British. Before it came out, the Maggie O'Farrell book, and decided it would make a great film. Spoke to Maggie O'Farrell, got the rights to it, then spoke to a bigger British film producer here, Pippa Harris and Sam Mendes. They took it on, they then take it to Steven Spielberg. That's how it works. In the end, if you're going to make a movie, you need the money, and a lot of the money comes from America, whether it's from Netflix or Universal or Warner Brothers or wherever. So yes, you're right, there's been criticism, and particularly in years where there aren't a lot of British actors nominated. So Robert Aramayo, we were talking about earlier, he's the only Brit in the leading actor category. There are a few more in the best supporting actress category because of course we've got Emily Watson as well as 2 other big names, British names in that category. So there's always a little bit of discussion about whether the BAFTAs is British enough, but the point is it's a stop on the route to the Oscars. They want the big stars here, they want the big name talent, and well, they get it. There's a lot of big people who are going to be turning up in the next hour or so on this red carpet before heading in. They are big Hollywood names, and of course, in the end, that's what we want here in Britain, as well as rewarding British talent.
Now, Katie, you talked there about Robert Aramayo, and as you were speaking, we saw the team behind, I Swear, arriving on the red carpet behind you. He's up for Best Actor and Best Rising Star. Tell us more about him.
He is an absolutely fabulous actor. That film, if you haven't seen it, people who are watching this haven't seen it, go to it immediately. It's an absolutely brilliant, touching, moving film. And the thing about him, I spoke to him when he was nominated. He's very down to earth. He's 33 years old. He's from Hull, and he told me he was doing the dishes, as he put it, doing the washing up, when he found out that he'd been nominated for Best Actor. And he is in that category with some real Hollywood greats, Leonardo DiCaprio amongst others, but also the person who actually, Robert Aramayo told me, the person that made him want to be an actor. And that is Ethan Hawke, who's nominated in the same category. And I imagine, it's been a whirlwind for Robert Aramayo the last few weeks. He's been doing a play at London's Royal Court at the same time as finding out who's nominated and getting in this whirlwind that is the award season, where he's been, endlessly doing interviews and all sorts of other things through the day and then performing on stage at night. And I imagine tonight, inside there, he'll be making a beeline for Ethan Hawke to have a conversation with him about how he inspired him, and now they're in the same category. If he won tonight, it would be, enormous for British film, enormous for him personally. People probably know him already from the Lord of the Rings series on Prime, but this is a real moment for him.
Katie Razzle, yes, absolutely. It's Katie, our culture and media editor for now. Thank you very much. Colin, Robert Aramayo, let's talk very briefly about him.
We've got some of I Swear
We've got
behind
the
us.
I Swear team just behind us, arriving there before they head in to the ceremony. Absolutely fantastic performance from the north of England. He absolutely nails that Gala Shields accent.
Scottish accent very well.
And
He's from Hull, yeah.
Just so many bits of that film were just perfect. I don't know if you watched the documentaries about John Davidson, who's right behind you there, when they came out. Hi John, how you doing? Have a good night. But some of the scenes, some of the cutaways in I Swear were copies of scenes in the documentary, like where he's crossing the road with his dog and keeps saying, goat, no wait, no goat, no wait. And they are just perfect.
And the supermarket,
yeah,
very much taken from the documentary. I remember when I was a kid, that documentary was on. It was a QED called John's Not Mad, and it was an absolute sensation when it was on TV. You'd never seen anything like it. And I believe Lisa's got something.
Yeah, we'll pick that up later on. Let's go back to Lisa, who's on the red carpet.
Thank you. Sorry to interrupt, because we're joined now by two of the stars of one of the films up for Outstanding British Film, as well as other nominations. Of course, The Ballad of Wallace Island with Tom Baslin and Tim Key. Now, this is a wonderful, heartwarming movie that has so many beautiful themes in it, trying to recapture the past, music, people's love for each other. It must have been lovely to play on screen.
Yeah, it was a wonderful film for us to make. Tim and I have worked together for over 20 years, so, we were desperate to get back to this story because it's based on a short film that we made together a long time ago. So being able to do that and then bring other people into that community, with the director we worked with as well, it was lovely. And we really were a family when we were making the film, and I hope that comes across on screen.
And what was it like for you, Tim? I think you probably had twice as much dialogue, but the amount of...
Yeah, none of it very relevant. Yeah, I just sort of babble away throughout the film. It was a joy. We made the short film, and we really loved that weekend of making it. But I think we always wanted to go back to those characters, and it's kind of like, it's a dream character, my one. I think we just used to write loads of sketches and stuff, and there was that kind of archetype of that person. And to put him in a film where there's some real stuff happening, and that was the aim. The way you've just described the film, we wanted it to be heartwarming and funny, and we're lucky enough to get the chance to do it and have people back us and let us make the film.
And what's it been like seeing the recognition it's been getting, particularly as a British film?
It's bananas. Mind-blowing. Yeah. It's a complete surprise. We didn't know what the film would become or how many people would see it. And I think even when it was released here, it was a small release. It was quite limited, and then people started talking about it, and through word of mouth, it grew and grew. And it has, you know, it's sort of been with us this whole year. We've been doing screenings, we've been talking to people. There've been, you know, more and more opportunities to highlight the film, and that's just so unusual. It's been such a treat.
And finally, what did Carey bring to the film?
Yeah, I mean, the short was pretty good, but yeah, Carey elevated everything, and we were just incredibly lucky to have her. She's a brilliant person, and then what you see on screen is fantastic. So she kind of, yeah, made the film, as long as this man's music. But yeah, she's fantastic.
Congratulations on the film. Best of luck with it tonight. I know it's up in a few categories, and can't wait to see what you both do next.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's Tim Key and Tom Basden, two of the stars, of course, of The Ballad of Wallace Island. We'll be hopefully talking to the third star, Carey Mulligan, a bit later on.
Lizo, thank you very much for now. If you're just joining us, you're with BBC News. We are live on the red carpet at London's South Bank Centre for the 79th BAFTA Film Awards. I'm Rich Preston here with Colin Patterson, our entertainment correspondent. That was Lizo Mazimbi you heard from earlier on as well. Now, one of the big parts of this evening is nothing to do with the films, of course, and that is the fashion. Who's wearing what, who's really styling it out. And to cover that critical angle of the evening, we've got our culture reporter Noor Nanji with us. Noor, tell us the highs and lows of the evening so far.
If I'm looking there, am I...
Well, I think we've lost more there.
That was one of the lows.
Yeah, that was
highs and
absolutely
lows.
one of the lows, yeah. Okay, so I'm with Colin Patterson, who is definitely here in person. This line's
I
not
have
going to
one
drop out.
fashion thing I can reveal.
Right, go on then.
We've just seen Hunterix walk by from K-pop Demon Hunters. They have people to hold their trains as they walk down the red carpet. We need that for next year.
Yeah, I had
definitely.
to carry my own bag. It's unacceptable.
Yeah.
Now, we were talking about best film earlier on. There's one film in that category we have not touched on yet. I loved it. You were a bit mixed about it. Sinners.
Sinners has been a phenomenon. It's 13 nominations, the most ever for a film by a black director. Ryan Coogler is the guy behind it, in Fruitvale Station, the Creed movies, the Black Panther movies. And this is a film which, when I spoke to the cast, they said they don't want it to be called a horror film. They think it's a film about the horrors of life, rather. It's set in the 1930s in the deep south in America, and it's about cultural appropriation, it's about racism, and it could actually provide a British winner tonight, because Wumi Wasaku is from Manchester, and she is nominated in Best Supporting Actress for playing a voodoo priestess, or hoodoo priestess, in it. So it could end that, I was saying, has not been a British winner for 3 years, and I think she has a chance to turn over the favourite with the bookies, Tiana Taylor. We could see a British winner there.
Interesting, one to watch there. Okay, Colin, for now, thank you very much. I'm reliably informed Noor Nanji is back with us. Noor, I hope you're working now. Good to see you. So the fashion of the evening is a big part of the night. What are you watching out for?
You know what? It's really interesting because the sun has come out, probably it feels like for the first time year, and the celebrities are not missing this opportunity. They have taken off the winter coats and they are really embracing trying to get into a bit of the sunshine. So I've seen a lot of strapless gowns, I've seen a fishnet tail, I've seen a really impressive green sequined dress as well. But a little earlier, it was quite incredible. I saw Chase Infinity and Renate Reinsve, two of the obviously best actress nominees, and they were hugging. They saw each other on the red carpet, and they ran up to each other. They actually screamed. They were so excited to see each other. And Chase Infinity is wearing this beautiful purple gown, and Renate was wearing this velvet black dress, which also had a cutout bit in the middle. So, I mean, they were dressed as if it was pretty much summer, but it was absolutely stunning. And I think that is definitely the vibe today. It feels like a lot of people are just absolutely so excited that it's warm. It's not, compared to where we've been, they are not feeling the cold, and they are dressed to impress.
And Noor, this is a big night for the stars, of course, on the red carpet, as well as the production teams. We saw one of the big stars earlier, Paddington. We were discussing this at the start of the programme, not adhering to the black tie rule this evening. I wonder if he's going to be kicked off the BAFTA list because of that. But talk us through what else you're seeing as people come through, just briefly.
Well, you know what? Paddington is so cute, so we'll let him off, won't we? But my biggest question for Paddington is whether there's going to be marmalade sandwiches in the green room. But yeah, you're right. He definitely wasn't wearing black tie. He was quite shy, to be honest. There was a lot of press on him. He looked a little bit nervous, but you know what? I'm sure he'll perk up by the time he's presenting his awards. But, it's been a really great atmosphere today. And I think something I'm really excited about is just looking at the Rising Stars and the Rising Star nominees. Obviously, these were announced a while ago. And the thing about the Rising Star category is it's the only category at the BAFTAs which is nominated by the public. So in a way, it's the one that everyone wants to win because you feel, this is what the public have voted for. So Chase Infinity, we've just been mentioning, she's there, and there's a couple of others in that category as well. But yes, I'll hand back to you guys now.
We will leave it there for now. Noor Naji, thank you very much. Hello there, you are live with BBC News, coming to you from the red carpet at London's South Bank Centre for the 79th BAFTA Film Awards. The great and the good of the British and international movie industry are here. I'm joined by our entertainment correspondent Colin Patterson. Lisa Mazimba is further down the red carpet, grabbing the stars as they go by. Lots of big names here tonight, and of course lots of awards up for grabs. Colin, we were talking slightly earlier about the best film category, and some of the films in there have just got dozens of awards that they're up for.
So leading the way with 14 nominations, one battle after another. Leonardo DiCaprio playing a revolutionary coming out of retirement to try and rescue his daughter from white supremacists. Then, with 13 nominations, we have Sinners. It's a period blues and vampire movie. Not a phrase that you often get to say from Ryan Coogler, the guy behind Creed and the Black Panther movies. Then, with 11 nominations, Britain's best chance in Best Film. Hamnet, this film, a fictionalised version of the death of Shakespeare's son and the way it might have inspired his most famous work, Hamlet. And also with 11 nominations, Marty Supreme, the 1950s table tennis heist movie, which we think will give Timothée Chalamet the Best Actor BAFTA.
Thank you, Colin. For now, we're talking about one of those films. Earlier on the star of one of them, Chase Infinity, spoke to Lisa Mazimba when she arrived. Let's take a listen.
So, first of all, Chase, what's it like being at your very first BAFTAs?
Oh my God, I'm very excited. It feels very, very special, and I'm still pinching myself for the fact that I even get to be here. It's just such an incredible honor.
I mean, the film has so many wonderful themes in it. It's about race, it's about fear, it's about acceptance. I mean, all these themes, are they really challenging to an actress to balance?
I think that the beautiful thing about the film is there's a lot of elements, like the things that you were saying, family, love, friendship, and chosen family, and things like that, that are just also, I think the comforting thing was those are things that are inherent in life. And so that felt a bit easier to manage because you can pull from past experiences, from people that you love, from your family, your chosen family, your friends. And so that was a comfort, tackling the film.
And finally, you really hold your own against some incredible performers in this film, not least of which Leonardo DiCaprio. What was that like?
It was incredible. He was such a wonderful, gentle leader, and I just feel so grateful to have even observed him and to have worked with him for so long. And I feel grateful now to even call him my friend. So it was a wonderful experience.
Chase Infinity, thank you for your time. Congratulations on your nomination.
Thank you.
Lisa Mazimba there talking to Chase Infinity, who is up for Best Actress. Now, Colin, let's talk about some of the names who are here tonight. We've got human and non-human as well.
Yeah, because one of the first people to arrive, the very first person, bear to arrive on the red carpet was Paddington. And he's offended you, hasn't he?
Yeah, not wearing the black tie that we're all expected to wear this evening. But Paddington, there we see him there arriving. We do not know whether he was carrying any marmalade sandwiches with him and whether those went through the security screening. I guess we'll find out later on. Okay, right, now let's go back to Lisa Mazimba further up the red carpet.
Yes, thank you very much. With me now on the red carpet is, of course, one of our best-known British young actors, Jack O'Connell, star of both 28 Years Later, up for Outstanding British Film, and also Sinners, which has got a few nominations as well in it, like that. So what's it like being here tonight?
It means a great deal to me. It's amazing. It really is. And they went for it. it looks incredible here tonight. So, yeah.
So first of all, let's talk about 28 years later. You've got a part in that, and it's one of the nominees for Outstanding British Film. What was it like being part of that now epic franchise?
It's like a dream come true, really, to be honest. And I think the main overarching feeling for me is I'm just really pleased for my pals, you know. Yeah. So I'm right behind them tonight, wanting the best for them, and be great, man. Be great to get to see him on home soil.
Yeah. And of course, Sinners. Lots of people, you know, up for awards for that. You know, everyone from Michael to Ryan. Miles Caton's up for the Rising Star Award, or an award that you know well. Yeah. I mean, you know, how do you think they're going to do tonight?
I know who my money's on. But yeah, I think it's just a case of enjoying it, isn't it? Enjoy the night, enjoy the moment, and whatever happens, happens.
Jack O'Connell, always a pleasure speaking to you.
Likewise.
Take care.
You too.
Have a good one. That was Jack O'Connell, of course, features in 2 of the movies nominated tonight, Sinners and 28 Years Later. And of course, as I said, you know, one of our better known young British performers.
Lizo, thank you very much for now. Colin, one thing that I think people maybe don't understand about the BAFTAs, because it's different from award ceremony to award ceremony, is who picks? Who gets on the long list, the short list, and who decides the winner?
So there's 8,300 members of BAFTA who get to vote in the film awards, and there are 3 rounds to the BAFTAs. There are the long lists, which come out often just before Christmas or just after, and on that there'll be maybe 10 for the acting categories or 15 for some of the technical categories, and these are chosen by a mixture of the whole people can vote. Then the next round is the nominees, and those are chosen by the branches. So if you're a cinematographer, you would get to decide which of the cinematographers are on there. And then there's the final round, which is the final voting for the winners, and the whole Academy gets to vote for every category, apart from a couple which are chosen by small committees. So the Outstanding British Debut, that is chosen by a committee because it's more specialised films that not everyone will have seen. And one of the interesting things is just how many films can enter the BAFTAs. 221 films were entered in the BAFTAs this year. No one can watch all that. There was 43 that made it through to the final round. You're only supposed to vote in the categories if you have seen all the categories, the films in that category. There's a bit of honesty required, so you're supposed to step back if you don't. I'm not sure if everyone's always completely honest about that. That's a lot of films.
That is a lot. I hope you got lots of long haul flights there. And
do you know, one thing you have to do is they allocate 15 films to everyone who votes in it from across the board to make every film is at least seen a few times, and that's to try and just make sure that films do have a chance against the massive studio pictures. So I could have just answered that by saying it's complicated.
And what does it take to be a BAFTA film? Could any movie be nominated for a BAFTA?
Well, there's a big one that's missed out this year. One of the biggest films of the year. Not allowed in the BAFTAs, despite the fact that they are performing, and just walked by us a few minutes ago, because K-pop Demon Hunters not allowed in the BAFTAs this year, and the reason for that is it was not shown in cinemas before it streamed on Netflix. BAFTA very much still want to be seen to be supporting cinema and not allowing things just to go to streaming services. That is why K-pop Demon Hunters was not allowed, but it did qualify for the Oscars because they put it in the cinemas in LA for a couple of weeks just to make sure it counted.
Now, we've been touching a lot on the performance awards this evening. I wonder if we could briefly talk about some of the craft awards. Now, one of the films I really enjoyed watching is not up for many performance awards, but it's up for lots of the production awards, Frankenstein.
Yes, 8 nominations in total, and I think when it comes to things like the production design, it could do very, very well, what we call the below-the-line categories.
Interesting, we might come back to that. Right now, let's go back to Lizo Mazimba.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm joined by one of the stars of Sinners. She's up for Best Supporting Actress, of course. It's Wunmi Mosaku. So what's it like being part of this juggernaut that's the film Sinners?
It's overwhelming. It's so affirming. It's such a beautiful experience from beginning to today. I feel so honoured. I feel so honoured to be here.
An incredible character, so many complicated things to her. She's very driven by her faith, for instance.
Yeah, I think her faith is like the crux of her whole being. Every action she takes is from that genesis, her faith and her integrity and her love. I've learned so much about her. I learned so much about faith through her, and I learned so much about myself through that journey too.
And this film, did you have any inkling when you were making it of what it was going to become, or did you think you're making it's a kind of vampire kind of race story set, you know?
I loved it with all my heart. I saw the potential. I felt the power of it. Like, I felt moved and changed by the film. So when we were making it, we were like, do you think other people are going to feel how we feel, or are we in a bubble? And thankfully, when people saw it, they felt the same as we did, and they kept coming back to it. Just as, like, I used to read the script like every single night, because I got something new every single night. And yeah, I didn't know, but I hoped they would.
And briefly, finally, this film has taken you all over the world on the awards trail. What's it like being back in good old London?
It's so lovely to be home. I feel like it's given me a real burst of energy. It's been a very busy, exhausting run of award season, and this like felt like, feels like day one to me, because I'm here and I'm at home.
Wumi Wasaku, thank you so much for talking to us. Best of luck this evening. Congratulations on Sinners.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So Wumi Wasaku, of course, Best Supporting Actress nominee for Sinners, which is one of the films that could potentially do extremely well tonight.
Yes, Lisa Mazimba there on the red carpet for us. Colin, it could indeed do extremely well. Sinners, remind us how many nominations?
It has a whopping 13, the most ever by a film directed by a black director, and it could be a game changer today. Definitely, I think it's a really strong contender when it comes to best soundtrack.
Interesting. Right, well, let's go back now to Lisa, who has someone else to talk to.
Sorry to interrupt again. You thought all the Sinners talk was over, but it's not, because we're joined by another star of the film, Miles Caton. Of course, I'm very well, thank you, Miles. Now, of course, you're up for Rising Star this evening. What does it mean to you to get that nomination?
Man, it's unbelievable to be a part of, in a category that has, so many incredible actors that have come before. I think it's amazing. It's an honor.
And Sinners, I was just talking to Wumi Wasaku. I described it as a juggernaut. Is that what it's felt like, the impact that it's had?
Absolutely, absolutely. The supporters, the people who have watched the film, who have seen it, and just shown so much love, it definitely feels like that. Yeah.
What's the experience like of making it for you?
Probably the best experience of my life. And I've toured and stuff like that, but this experience was different. Getting to try something new in new territory, getting to learn from Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo and Jack O'Connell, so many incredible actors on set every day to watch and kind of pull from. So it's been an amazing experience.
And of course, music, a huge part of the film, huge part of your life.
Absolutely, man. To be able to write on the soundtrack, to be a part of the score, and work with Ludwig and Serena Goranson, it was amazing.
What's next for you?
I'm working on music, working on the album. That'll be coming out in the summertime, and then I'll be touring.
Miles Caton, best of luck tonight. Thanks for talking to us.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Cheers, thank you. That was Miles Caton, and I think that is probably the Sinners chat all over for a while, but if it goes on, I'll get back to you.
Lizo, thank you very much for now. And Miles, I was talking about the score. Yeah. And the score in Sinners and both Marty Supreme really stood out for me.
Right. It is I think probably the category is most likely to win in, though I'd love Wumi Wasaku to win so we get a British victory tonight.
Yeah, and great outfit. Let's go back to Lizo.
On a phenomenal performance.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for saying that.
What does it feel like to be nominated for I Swear, Robert?
Oh, I mean, I just think it's a great acknowledgement of the film, The film's really trying to do something and say something. It's also trying to be accessible and for people to go and watch it, so we've had some success there. It's feels like a real honour.
It looked such a challenge mentally, physically, emotionally.
Yeah, it was. It was the toughest thing I've ever done, and it really, it was very, very challenging. But I think what was most important was that I was just thinking about all the incredible people that I'd met that lived with Tourette's in one way or another, and I wanted to, and for John, of course, most especially, wanted to do justice for him in telling his story authentically.
What was it like spending time with John, not just to feel you could play him, but just to get to know him?
Yeah, I mean, he's a great man to get to know. He really is. He's an incredible guy. He's so knowledgeable. He's just a sweet man with a great sense of humour, so I personally feel just lucky to call him a friend as well as somebody who I've worked with.
How did you go about preparing for this? Did you watch the documentary? Did you talk to John, his friends?
Yeah.
You know, were there other things you did to get under his skin?
Yeah, well, all of that really. I mean, hung out with John as much as I could, read as much as I could, YouTube videos, anything that, you know, and met as many people who live with Tourette's as I could through an amazing charity called Tourette's Scotland. So yeah, I felt very lucky to have a lot of resources available to me to just saturate my life really with a deeper understanding of Tourette's that I could have.
And how important is this film in raising awareness of the condition?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, it seems to me like, you know, I felt so lucky to speak to so many people who have, you know, seen the film. Maybe they've been to the cinema for the first time, you know, because they live with Tourette's, or that they saw themselves in the film in some way. It's just, it's amazing, you know, a really, really lovely feeling.
And finally, you're up against some really well-known names in your category. Oh, what's it like just seeing your name in that group of people?
Yeah, I'm just happy to be there, man. I mean, those names, those actors, people whose work I've watched for so long, or respect so much, just to be here and to be on that list of names is an unbelievable honour.
Robert Aramayo, Best Actor nominee for the film I Swear. Congratulations on your nomination. Best of luck tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, man.
And you. That, of course, was Robert Aramayo, the star of I Swear, and he could pull off a bit of a shock possibly tonight by winning Best Actor.
And he's also up for Best Rising Star, and the film I Swear up for Best British Film. Hello there, if you're just joining us, you are with BBC News. We are coming to you live from the red carpet at London's South Bank Centre for the 79th Annual BAFTA Film Awards. I'm Rich Preston here with our entertainment correspondent Colin Patterson, and we should tell you the event itself kicks off at 7 p.m. You can watch the ceremony and all the special coverage on BBC One from 7 o'clock this evening. Let's go now to Noor Nanji, our culture reporter, who's keeping her eye on the fashion this evening and who's wearing what. Noor, it's quite the spectacle on the red carpet. What have you seen?
Well, a little earlier I was telling you about that moment when I saw some of the Best Actress nominees hugging as they arrived, and their outfits were absolutely incredible. But let's just take a moment there to talk about Wunmi Mosaku, who earlier, I think we had a little bit of her on the screen. So she is, of course, the actress who's up for in Sinners, and she came along in this beautiful blue, it was like sort of electric royal blue gown. It had tassels underneath, and the thing that really got me was the matching eyeshadow. I don't know why I didn't think about that, but it looks absolutely fantastic. And so the outfits have been really spectacular so far. Earlier on, one of the first people who arrived today was Alan Cumming. Now he is, of course, the presenter, the host tonight. So that explains why he was there early, and he was wearing sort of quite a fashionable tasseled outfit.
Noor, I'm very sorry to cut you off. I'm going to interrupt you there. Let's go straight back to Lizo Mazimba.
Yes, sorry to interrupt. We're joined by Rose Byrne, Best Actress nominee for an incredible piece of work. I mean, what was it like? It looked like an emotional roller coaster.
It was. It was a tightrope. It was the role was such a gift, but I mean, I just didn't want to mess it up. My adrenaline was so through the roof doing it, but it's such an extraordinary film. I really truly loved every minute. I can't believe I'm here. I'm like, it's really a tiny movie, so it's so meaningful to be here.
How did you see the role? You know, an emotional challenge, somebody dealing with the pressures of motherhood, or somebody reflecting the pressures that people often feel but don't often express.
Yes, yeah, it was all of those layers really, and then also trying to find I'm always trying to find the comedy too in these very, very, very dark situations. So that was another challenge to it, like really tonally figuring it out. But Mary Bronstein, my writer-director, she made an extraordinary movie, and it's reaching more and more people who are like very compelled. It's like a movie you walk out of and you're speechless. So I'm so honoured to be a part of it.
And finally, what do you hope audiences will take away from it?
I just want more and more people to see it. It's a small film, so it's the more people it can reach, I think. But I know so many mothers, I have friends of mine who've seen it who've said I really feel seen, so that's really touched me.
Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the ceremony. Thank you. Sorry to have interrupted. Rose Byrne, Best Actress nominee for If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. And hopefully, we were hoping to speak to Stormzy, but he's gone off again. But we will be speaking to more stars as they come on the red carpet.
Lizzo, thank you very much, and we will be coming back to you, so no need to apologise for those interruptions. Lizzo was over there, further down the red carpet, here at the BAFTA Film Awards at London's South Bank Centre. I'm Rich Preston, here with Colin Patterson, our entertainment correspondent.
I enjoyed the guy with the ruffle way behind Lizzo. I was thinking,
Now, Colin, these
year.
are the BAFTAs, these are the British Film Awards.
Yes.
Let's talk about Outstanding British Film. Who's in the running there?
So this is a category where we're guaranteed a British winner, and there are 10 films in it. They changed this about 5 years ago because they wanted more representation for British films. And these are from a long list that's been selected by a committee as well as the voters to make sure that some more obscure films do get their moment. And a nomination on this can make a big difference to a film. But when one film is nominated for Best Film and then nominated for Best British Film, you've got to think, is this a good sign? Because Hamnet is in there, and that is going to be a very tough one to get by. Chloe Zhao's film about Shakespeare, dealing with the death of his son. And we haven't actually mentioned Jessie Buckley yet today, who was absolutely the favourite to win Best Actress for playing Shakespeare's wife. But the other British films that are worth looking for in that, because this category has been going since 1993, and only 4 times has any film done the double, won Best Film and Best British Film. It actually happened last year with Conclave. So there is the chance that even if Hamnet wins Best Film, another film could win this. And I swear, we've been talking about it all day. It's a powerful film. It's a very British film. It could have a little outside chance of this. And also, we saw them speaking to Lizzo earlier, The Ballad of Wallace Island, this kind of British folk music comedy. It took them 20 years to get it made. It actually won the BAFTA for Best Short Film in 2007, and they've been trying to get it made into a feature film all that time. It's been a real battle of adversity, and as Tom Basson was saying in the interview, it's a film where they wanted it to be good-natured, warm feeling and funny. Kerry Mulligan, the fact that she is nominated for Best Supporting Actress for it shows the strength that that film has at tonight's BAFTAs.
Do you have a favourite from the British film category?
I am a bit biased, I swear. I did a feature on it when it came out, and it was a real thrill to meet John Davidson and just hear how much it meant to him to have that film. And we've kept going on about it, but Robert Aramayo's performance in that is truly exceptional. If people were seeing him thinking, that's a familiar face, he plays the young Sean Bean in Game of Thrones. That's where people will be recognising him from.
What about a film like The Battle for Wallace Island?
That, yeah, they were saying there that it's taken so long to get made, and what a battle it has been for it. Will it win? I don't think it will in that category, but yeah, it has done really well. Pillion is another film that has a big support base that trying to describe it in daytime TV, slightly harder, but let's just say it was a film that looks into more specialised interests when it comes to sex.
Right,
Is that a fair
way to
description?
describe it, yeah. Meanwhile, there's also films in there that it feels like they came out so long ago that they shouldn't even be in the awards this year, but Bridget Jones.
Bridget Jones!
I completely forgot that is a contender
Well, it was
for
this time
year.
last year that it came out, but what a box office phenomenon it was. It was the second biggest film at the UK box office last year. Only Minecraft made more money than Bridget Jones. I'm surprised Minecraft didn't think of actually putting Bridget Jones into a special edition of Minecraft. Then we'd have a real blockbuster. But yeah, I don't think that's going to win, but I think it was such a phenomenon that that category really did want to acknowledge it.
Now, Colin, we had a bit of a walk around earlier. Give us a sense of the geography of the award ceremony.
I don't know if people can see, but behind you, we've been showing shots of people arriving on the red carpet. This is where the A-listers come to get their all-important photos. There's a little star on the carpet that they have to stand on, and then they get ushered along. And we've basically, after the people have spoken to Lizzo, they come here. But they arrive at Belvedere Road, which is about sort of 30 metres that way. They then come onto the red carpet and turn left and get to do the official photos, then the EE photos, and then they come and speak to Lizzo. And then after they've gone by all the press, they come down a flight of stairs to the photos there. I'm just trying to see who's actually having their snaps taken at the moment.
Well, it's funny, Colin, because you mentioned people arrive and they talk to Lizzo Mazimba as one of the first things they do. He had a conversation with someone earlier on. Let's take a listen.
Stellan Skarsgård is, of course, nominated for the film Sentimental Value. Now, you've been to many, many award ceremonies. This is a very special role for you. Your character, he's very complicated, talented, but empathetic as well. I mean, what was it like to play him?
It's a gift from heaven. He's a very complicated role, as you said, but it's also many layers. You can play many layers in it, and the idea of playing him was to show a man that is not pleasant always, that's not good always, but that is flawed like we all are, and make people understand his flaws and forgive them.
Of course, family dynamics are what drive the narrative of this film. Are they the most interesting to play for an actor?
It's not. I mean, they are an endless source of drama. But of course, it's interesting. But any human behavior is interesting for an actor, and the sort of the irrationality of humans, the sort of pretense of rationality we live with, is interesting, and the lies we lie to ourselves, and the how we dress our life in a shroud that is totally fake without knowing it.
And finally, can I just ask, you must be very pleased to see both the BAFTAs and the Oscars over the years embracing foreign language films, not in the English language, so much more strongly. That must be a source of great joy to you.
Yeah, well, it is a joy. I mean, but it's a global world now, and.
Stellan Skarsgård there talking to Lizo Mazimba earlier on. Let's go live back to Lizo now.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm joined now by two of the people behind one of the films people have been talking about this evening, Sinners. I'm talking to Ryan Coogler and Sarah Ohanian. So, did you realise when you were making this film the impact it was going to have, Ryan?
No, you can't, no. No, we was trying to make something that worked for the audience. You never know. You know, we would look to each other all the time and just check in, and it was an intense collaboration. So, you know, making sure that we had everybody's back. Sev and I produced with our partner at Proximity, Zinzi Cougar, and yeah, we would check in, like we liked it, we knew we liked it, you know what I mean? But you never know how the audience is gonna take it in. I don't know what you think, bro.
Absolutely. I mean, the person who believed in it the most was you, Ryan, because literally every day on this movie, which was a very challenging film to make, Ryan would say even in the hardest times, I've never made a better movie, and I've never had a better time making a movie. So he really kind of set the tone for the rest of us.
What does it feel like to... This movie's made history, the most Oscar nominations of any film in history. I mean, what does that feeling feel like? Does it ever go away?
It's a recent feeling, and it's still like I try not to think about it, to be honest. Like you know, it's an overwhelming concept when it's put in context like that. But when I think about the work that I saw everybody do, you know, from Sev and Zinzi to all my actors on down to all the heads of departments, you know, I knew it was fantastic work. You know, so that the Academy recognized it is you know, I'm just incredibly grateful. But I knew they were doing a beautiful job while they were doing it.
And finally, why do you think it's connected so strongly with audiences, critics, award ceremonies, everybody basically?
Yeah, I think it's honestly the power of Ryan's incredible writing. You know, our company, Ryan, myself, and Zinzi, our company's name is Proximity Media. The goal is to tell stories that bring audiences in close proximity to often overlooked subjects. And Ryan and Zinzi, they pulled into their own ancestry and the culture that blues music has provided to the entire world and found ways for everyone to relate to it. So I think it goes back to that.
So, Ryan, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Enjoy the evening. Congratulations again on the huge impact this movie's made. That was Ryan and Seb, two of the people behind Sinners, a movie that people have been talking about for weeks and probably will talk about for the rest of the year.
Lizo, thank you very much. Sorry to interrupt you there. Robert Aramayo's dad is with us here on the red carpet. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Wishing your son the very best of
He's done a lot of research and he put every effort into it. And I think the movie has shown everybody that there's a big story to tell about Tourette's, and it's changed all our minds.
Yeah,
So,
no, it was absolutely fantastic. Well, we'll let you get inside.
You look incredibly
and
like him. Do you get that a lot?
You're
his dad.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that I'm his dad. And yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
So,
okay, wishing him all the best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Have a good
Cheers.
evening.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Take care.
Bringing you all the big parent interviews.
Yeah,
We're not actually supposed to allow to speak to people, but I think when he came over, and
I think that's fair. I think that's
he actually
fair.
wanted to know if Robert had been through or not. He's lost track of him on the red carpet.
Now, one person who has just been through, Emma Stone. Now, we have not talked about Begonia
Not at all,
yet,
yeah.
which I loved. Right, let's put a pin in that. Let's go back to Lizo Mazimba.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm joined now by one of the Best Actress nominees, Kate Hudson, of course, for the film Songs in Blue. I mean, what is it like being part of a movie like this, so full of emotion and warmth and beautiful music?
Oh, it was the best. It was so much fun. It gave me the ability to play all the notes, and I had the best partner in Hugh Jackman. And it's really just one of those movies, isn't it, that you go to these very dramatic places, but it always holds like a thread of hope to such a life-affirming, joyful film, even though we go to those dark places. So it was really special to be a part of something like that, and for something like that to even be made, these days. So it was a special.
For people who don't know the plot, obviously the music of Neil Diamond features fairly heavily in it. Are you a big fan of his? Were you a big fan of his before this?
I am now. He wasn't really my generation of music, so Neil Diamond for me in this movie was a big discovery, and his music is a big narrative. It's a part of this film. So it was so special. He gave us absolute carte blanche of his catalog. So I got to delve into his music in ways that I would have never done if it wasn't for this film. And it was a great discovery for me.
And what was it like working with Hugh Jackman? Of course, we've seen him singing a lot more in movies than we have you.
Yeah, Hugh is such an entertainer. He loves to entertain. He loves to sing. He's such a generous, amazing, beautiful man. I got so lucky. I felt so supported with him, and this movie really, it really rested on the love story. I mean, if the love story didn't work, the movie really wouldn't work. And so Hugh just approached it with all of the openness and connection that you could wish for in a partner.
Kate Hudson, thanks for talking to us. Enjoy the rest of the evening. With Kate Hudson, nominee Best Actress for the film Songs in Blue. And hopefully we'll be talking to more people in the next few minutes.
Lizo, thank you very much. We will be coming back to you as soon as you are grabbing those A-listers as they breeze past you. Speaking of which, just in the last few minutes, as you may have seen on your screen there, Timothée Chalamet down the red carpet. Biggest
cheer of the night,
huge
definitely
cheer for him. Yeah, Cillian Murphy as well, just in the last few seconds. And also let's pick that up in a minute. Let's go back to Lizo.
Hello, I'm joined on the red carpet by somebody whose work is familiar to millions, Helen Fielding, the person that created the magnificent Bridget Jones, and of course co-writer on the new Bridget Jones movie, well, newish at this point, Bridget Jones, Mad About the Boy. I mean, what was it like bringing Bridget back again with such a pleasurable way?
It was fantastic after all these years to be back together with the Oak crew, with Renee, with you, with Colin, and all the old faces, new faces as well. And I think it's a huge surprise and a huge honour for Bridget number 4 to be nominated by BAFTA. And it's a sign that this unassuming little character who was just honest is very British. It's very British to laugh at yourself, to be honest about your vulnerabilities, to be kind, to stick by your friends, to be resilient and have a good laugh.
I mean, there are movies that sometimes pop up in that category where you think, why is that British? It's like, but there is nothing more British than Bridget Jones, so it seems so appropriate to see it nominated there. How challenging was it bringing, her back in the way that you did? In a way, I'm sure you never imagined or envisaged when you first created her.
I think it's a bit like having a child when you write a book and you have a character and you make it onto the big screen. You have to sort of let it grow up. But when it gets to be a teenager, pick your battles. The moment when it starts taking drugs is when you dive in and go, no, 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 no. So I actually care very much about Bridget and her authenticity. That's all she's got. There's no wizards, there's no superheroes, there's nothing blowing up. It's just a point of view and an integrity of character. And it's my job to protect that.
Will there be more Bridget?
There will only be another Bridget if a story comes to me that I want to tell, that has an authenticity and truth to it.
Now, before you go, I have to ask you about something else. There's another British institution that in fact is a vague connection between myself and you. I spent many years working on Newsround, the children's news programme. I did. I was there for 10 years or so. And of course, what many people probably don't know is that you, like me, have been a presenter, reporter on screen for Newsround, haven't you?
Yeah, but I bet I was worse than you are. But all those things in the Bridget movies, you know, when she's sliding down the fireman's pole and then she starts climbing up again, doesn't realise she's live on air. Well, like us just now. I thought, oh, we were not. Those were all based on reality of me, like, standing outside the hospital when a royal baby was being born.
I've seen that footage.
Have you? And then they forgot to cue me and I was just like going like this, and then I went, oh, it's all very exciting, but the baby hasn't been born yet, now back to the studio. It was like that. I didn't get much work as a presenter.
No, you were very, very good, but you know, it must be wonderful having an association with two great British institutions, one of which you created, Bridget Jones. Best of luck tonight. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Lovely to talk to you.
I'll send you a tape of that, surreptitiously, that footage, so you've got that.
Oh, that'd be so sweet. Thank you.
Helen Fielding. That, of course, Helen Fielding, the creator of Bridget Jones and one of the writers on the new Bridget Jones movie, Mad About Roy, which is up for outstanding British film. And also someone like me that has been a presenter on Newsround in the past.
Lizo, thank you very much for now. Lizo Mazimba talking to all the stars on the red carpet here at the 79th BAFTA Film Awards. Just to remind you, you can watch the ceremony at 7 p.m. on BBC One. The whole thing hosted by Alan Cumming on BBC One, 7 p.m. If you're just joining us, you are with BBC News live from London's South Bank Centre on the red carpet for the 79th BAFTA Film Awards. We will be going back and forth to Lizo Mazimba, who is further up the red carpet, grabbing the stars as they go past. I'm here with our entertainment correspondent.
Join watching Tiana Taylor, who is favourite for Best Supporting Actress for a role in One Battle Another, doing some ferocious air kissing. And that is quite an outfit.
Let's move out of the way. That is really a fantastic outfit, if we can see that before she wanders down into the ceremony, or perhaps not. But we are seeing some of these other stars arriving. And Colin, just talk us through who's been here in the last few minutes.
Gosh, it's suddenly gone very, very A-list. We've seen Emma Stone walk through from Begonia. We've seen Timothée Chalamet. We've seen Jesse Plemons, also nominated to bring along Kirsten Dunst, his wife. And I like the fact that Tiana Taylor is just standing right behind us, strutting in the right poses. We should say she has been winning Best Supporting Actress for her powerhouse role in One Battle After Another, the Leonardo DiCaprio film. She appears in the first 20 minutes of the film, playing a reactionary, a revolutionary, and when you go and see that film, you cannot but be struck by that performance. And she has been winning Best Supporting Actress at the Golden Globes, the Critics' Choice. Will she win here tonight? She is up against Wumi Musaku, the British actress from Manchester, who is nominated for Sinners, a film again we've spoken about so much tonight, playing a hoodoo priestess in that. I would have it as one of them going home tonight with the BAFTA.
Right, we mentioned it earlier. I do want to talk about Begonia. I loved it. Talk us through that film.
Well, Emma Stone tonight, if she wins Best Actress, will become the youngest person to have won 3 Best Actresses at the BAFTAs by a mile. She is 37, the record at the moment held by Cate Blanchett at the age of 54, because Emma Stone's already won for La La Land, she's already won for The Favourite, and if she wins for this conspiracy theory movie, it'd be a massive, massive shock. I mean, basically, she's not going to win. It's going to be Jessie Buckley. But if she does, she will be the youngest ever to have done it 3 times.
Now, I'm a person that loves a short story, loves a twist, and that really is what's at the heart of Begonia.
Yeah, it is a film which I'm trying to think how big it's been. It's not sort of been as big as many of the other films that we've spoken to about tonight, but Emma Stone, Yorgos Lanthimos, real favourites with BAFTA as well, because of films like The Favourite, which they teamed up on. And Chloe Zhao now appearing on the photo shots, the director of Hamlet.
And remind me the significance of her being up for the Best Director.
She would be the first ever female to win twice if she wins Best Director for Hamlet. This film, which Sam Mendes was asked to direct, decided he couldn't do it, asked Steven Spielberg to direct, he decided he couldn't do it, and the right person to do it, they thought, was Chloe Zhao, the director who won 5 years ago for Nomadland. And what she did was, she was going through her own personal heartache and trauma. She got on a train in New York and sat and tried to write the script. She did it in one sitting, 80 pages, on a train between New York and LA. She said she was so tired when she arrived, she almost lost consciousness while waiting for her Uber. And tonight, she could be rewarded for that dedication with Best Picture at the BAFTAs. I think it's a real chance.
Now, Hamlet is a very British film, and if it does well tonight, lots of people may say, well, it's competing on home turf. What about the Oscars? How well do you think Hamlet will perform when it comes to the Oscars?
I think it'll be stronger here than at the Oscars, but Jessie Buckley, we keep mentioning, the Irish actress, she is the clear favourite to win Best Actress for playing Shakespeare's wife. But the way we know how well Hamlet is doing today is it's picked up nominations in the acting categories that it didn't at the Oscars. So Paul Mescal, who plays Shakespeare, nominated for Best Supporting Actor at the BAFTAs, not at the Oscars. And also Emily Watson, who we saw earlier on and spoke to, nominated for playing Shakespeare's mum, not at the Oscars. Now, it has missed out in a few categories like editing, cinematography, suggesting there is a weakness, but if I had to put my money on it, I would say Hamlet will win Best Picture at the BAFTAs, but I think it'll be one battle after another at the Oscars. In fact, only twice in the last 11 years has what's won at the BAFTAs gone on to win at the Oscars, and I think we could well end up with that scenario again this year.
While we're talking about Hamlet, can we rattle through who else is up in the Best Director category?
I may need a little bit of help come this side of the days, but I think it is. We've got most of the big films. We've got Paul Thomas Anderson would be the big one for one battle after another. He has had 25 nominations for his films over the years, but he has himself only ever won one BAFTA. That was for screenplay for Licorice Pizza, and I think Paul Thomas Anderson will win that category tonight. You've mentioned Chloe Zhao. Leonardo arriving for that film. We're talking about one battle after another. Leonardo DiCaprio nominated 7 times for Best Actor, joining an absolutely uber elite list.
And we should say in this film, he is Leo at Leo's best.
Leo, Stoner Leo is the Leo in this one, and yeah, it is quite a performance. I tell you what, it's interesting when Leo is right behind us, walking now. There he is. Could well be a strong contender tonight.
And a huge cheer.
Big cheer.
And actually, we should say he's going straight over to the fans now. There's a whole team of fans beside us who entered a ballot to get their space on the red carpet here. Now, lots of people, by the time they've been through the press and the photographers and the media, they just want to go straight into the ceremony and no doubt get a drink and sit down and have a breather. Leo has gone straight over to the fans and is happily taking selfies and signing autographs. So kudos
one
to
selfie
him
after
for
another.
that. Yeah, one selfie after another. Now, Colin, took us through else is up in the Best Director category.
We haven't actually spoken about Joachim Trier as well.
Hold that thought. Let's go back to Lizo Mazimba.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm joined now by one of the Rising Star nominees, Posey Starling. So, what is it like being nominated in this category? So many household names have been nominated and won it in the past.
Absolutely. I mean, it's such an honour to have that recognition. But I think especially for Lollipop and for this film, this is for so many women that are represented in this film. I feel very, very proud to be here tonight.
I mean, Lollipop is such an emotional experience for the people who've seen it. What was it like making it?
It was emotional, but it was inspiring. You know, when not just women, but people coming together and making something that you know is important, and it is really activating change, this film. It felt very purpose-led, very purpose-led.
So if you win tonight, how will you celebrate?
I will celebrate by sharing it with all the incredible people that made this film and made this performance possible, and probably going to bed.
Very rock and roll showbiz.
So showbiz.
And are there any other films or people you're supporting tonight that you fingers crossed to win?
Oh my goodness, so many, but I have to shout out Hamnet. Hamnet is a beautiful film. Jessie Buckley's performance is absolutely out of this world.
I think there's probably a pretty good chance that she will be picking up that BAFTA mask later on today, and probably an Oscar as well. Now, what is next for you before you go?
I have Dirty Business coming out on Monday. Is that tomorrow?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, tomorrow, Channel 4, and it is a 3-part series, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and it is about the water companies in our country illegally dumping sewage into our seas.
Posey, thank you so much for talking to us. Fingers crossed for you this evening. I hope you enjoy it anyway, and thank you for talking to us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was Posey Starling, star of Lollipop and a BAFTA Rising Star nominee this evening.
Lizo, thank you very much. Well, absolutely terrific lineup of people arriving this evening. Colin, if you're just joining us, you're with BBC News live on the red carpet at London's South Bank Centre for the 79th Annual BAFTA Film Awards. Now, Colin, the big question, who's going to win?
So, should we run through the big categories?
Sure.
I'll be bold and go for it. When it comes to Best Picture, a lot of people are tipping one battle after another because it has the most nominations with 14. I am thinking BAFTA's going to do what BAFTA often does and goes more British. I think Hamnet will win Best Picture. You can play that back to me tomorrow and say you were completely wrong. But Chloe Zhao's tale of Shakespeare dealing with the grief of the son in the fictionalised way that the story's presented as him, it inspires the writing of Hamlet from it. And just with all the British cast and crew that are involved in it, yes, they're Irish stars, Bob Mescal, Jessie Buckley, but I think Hamnet will be the one that wins Best Picture.
Okay, what about leading actor? Hold that, let's go back to Lizo.
Yes, thank you very much indeed. I'm joined now by a man no stranger to the BAFTAs. You've been nominated here before for playing a very famous writer, and you're here as a presenter this evening. What's that like?
Well, I'm presenting the Best Original Screenplay, and this year it has been exceptionally strong. So I'm excited to see. I looked at those nominees and I thought, boy, any one of these can win. So it's really going to be an interesting reveal. Yeah.
So what is it like when you're sitting out there in the auditorium being nominated and waiting to see if your name is read out or not? And it must be much more relaxing being a presenter.
It is much more relaxing. Yeah. I look at it like actors and writers and we need to tell the stories, we need to work. If you get nominated for anything, I look at it like it's a tap on the shoulder, and then you can turn around and someone says, oh, what a lovely honor to be nominated for something. But it's not why we enjoy doing what we do. You can't work toward an award, you just have to work and see what happens. So, but it's a great night. The BAFTAs are a wonderful organization and really encompasses a lot of foreign films, which I was introduced to this year from all over the world.
And before we let you go, of course, people have been waiting for a long time for the Malcolm in the Middle reboot, reunion, whatever you want to call it. What was it like being back with almost everybody again for that?
Well, I've done a lot of damaged characters before, and to slip back into the shoes of someone who's a sweet man was really refreshing. It was challenging, but to get all those boys who are now around the same age that I was when we first started Malcolm in the Middle 26 years ago. It was a joy, and it was getting the family back together. It was like a family reunion.
Brian Cranston, thank you so much for talking to us. Enjoy the evening, and you take care.
Bye.
It's Brian Cranston, who of course star of so many great TV shows, from Malcolm in the Middle to Breaking Bad, who's presenting an award tonight at the BAFTAs.
Lizzo, thank you very much. Right, Colin, I interrupted you earlier on.
Jessie Buckley there, we got in the shots, and I think she is favourites to win Best Actress by a long way.
Yeah.
She won the Golden Globes, she won the Critics' Choice Awards. If she did not win tonight, that would be a major, major shock. The biggest revelation I've seen in the last few minutes, Kate Hudson knows all the words to Madonna's Vogue, which is playing at the moment. She was walking behind us, absolutely word perfect. She knows a lot of Neil Diamond songs as well.
So you put your money on Best Film and Best Leading Actress. What about Leading Actor?
Jessie Buckley right behind us. Hold on, there she is. Not singing along to Madonna's Vogue. Sorry.
Leading Actor.
Leading Actor. I think Timothée Chalamet will win. He's been dominating this season, winning across the board. His strongest competition, I think, will not come from Leonardo DiCaprio. I think it is Robert Aramayo if there is to be an outside shock. But I think Chalamet will still pull it off. Interestingly, he arrived tonight, didn't do any interviews with people, but did come and walk by us, so we know he is in the building and had the look of a winner about him.
What about some of the special effects categories? Are there any films there that have got your particular interest?
Well, the film I know that you liked, I think, will be doing particularly well. Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, I think it could well do visual effects. Sometimes when it comes to sound and editing, though, there's a tendency for BAFTA to reward the car movies. Just because it can look stylish, it can sound loud, and we've got F1 this year. So if it's not Frankenstein, it will be a different F. It will be F1, I think, in those categories.
What about the supporting categories? Supporting actor, supporting actress?
Yeah, well, Lisa just spoke to him a wee while ago. Stellan Skarsgård at the age of 74. This is such a career. And he's been in everything from Mamma Mia to the Dune movies, and just thinking Paris the Caribbean he's been in as well. And I think he could well win tonight for Sentimental Value, this Norwegian film in which he plays an aging film director who decides to try and cast his own daughter in the film to try and re-establish his relationship with her, and it's almost like a leading man role, but he's in the supporting category, and I would be surprised if he doesn't win.
Interesting. Now, this is not all about the big, huge films, the blockbusters, if you like. There are also categories like documentaries and children's films as well.
Exactly, yeah. But when it comes to children's film and Best Animated Film, a massive one missing out. K-pop Demon Hunters, ineligible from this year's BAFTAs. And the reason why is because it was not shown in cinemas before it was streamed on Netflix. Here in the States, they decided they wanted to enter the Oscars, so they made sure. Now, some people will be going, but I went to the cinema to see it. I went to the sing-along version. I know you did. Only joking. But that didn't count because it was after it was released. So I think Zootropolis 2, it will become the clear favourite to win Best Animated Film and possibly could do the double. It could be Zootropolis 2 winning 2 awards, Best Children's Film and Best Animated Film. It has been a box office monster. There's Stormzy.
There is Stormzy on the carpet. Now, talk us through what Stormzy's here for, Colin.
He'll be one of the presenters tonight, and as we've been seeing, people like Bryan Cranston, Paddington Bear, all arriving because they are people who will be presenting. I'm surprised Stormzy has not had the leading role in a film yet. Surely that is something that he will add to the string to his bow at some point. There he is, straight off. He's very...
Now, Colin, we touched on this earlier when we spoke to Katie Razzle. Talk us through how much the BAFTAs are watched across the pond as a possible yardstick for what's going to do well in the Oscars.
Well, it's very interesting. It totally splits between the acting categories and when it comes to Best Film. For the last 2 years, whatever has won in the acting categories, all 8 have gone on to repeat at the Oscars. So whoever wins tonight should be very, very positive about their Oscar chances. In fact, out of the last 15 years in Best Actor, 13 have gone on to repeat. In the females, I think it's 9 out of 11. So huge correlation. When it comes to Best Film, completely different. Only twice in the last 11 years has what's won in the BAFTAs gone on. Completely different voting system. There's 5 films up for Best Picture in the BAFTAs. There's 10 in the Oscars. Different voting system. And also, BAFTA does tend to like to reward the more British film. And that is why I am saying that Hamnet, not one battle after another, will win tonight.
And Colin, I have to ask, if there was just a Best Overall award, did you have an absolute favourite from the last 12 months of British cinema?
I I'm an absolute sucker for I Swear. I think I sort of followed its story while it was being made. I interviewed the cast the week of its release. It was a joy to see it being a hit at the box office. It was like 6 weeks it spent in the top 10, and a real reminder that when you get the right film, people will still go to the cinemas. I did laugh earlier when we had Peter Mullen from the film on saying, yeah, you could watch it for home on a stick for free. That is not a policy that BAFTA would like to endorse.
Talk us through about some of the names we've seen here tonight, because there's very few people on the awards list who are not here tonight.
Yeah, we were told that every single acting nomination, all 24, there's 6 in each category at the BAFTAs, and everyone is here apart from Sean Penn. Very sad news for the Sean Penn UK fan club, which arrived by a busload earlier. They're the only ones.
And he's up for supporting actor for
best supporting actor for one battle after another, for playing Lockjaw, possibly the most evil character in the BAFTAs this year. But yeah, the fact is, because Oscar voting starts on Thursday coming up, and it's open for a week, if you are here winning a BAFTA, that is seen as a good way of reminding the Oscar voters that you're caring about the films, and that is why you've had Timothée Chalamet, it's why you've had Leonardo DiCaprio, it's why you've had Tiana Taylor. I mean, the biggest names, Emma Stone has come over here. She knows she's probably not going to win Best Actress because that's going to Jessie Buckley, but she came over as well. And this is the pool that BAFTA now has. Every year you get the biggest names in Hollywood when they're nominated turning up, and that's what's been the fun on the red carpet for the last 90 minutes. It got very, very busy there, didn't it?
And Colin, remind us, how does this evening work? The ceremony hosted by Alan Cumming, kicking off at 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock in the TV coverage. It actually starts at 5 o'clock our time, but it runs on a 2-hour delay because BAFTA the BBC One choose to edit down sort of a 2.5-hour, 2 hour 45 minutes show to 2 hours. So what you see on TV between 7 and 9 o'clock has already happened. So if you want to watch the BAFTAs and not have it ruined for you, you are going to have to stay off social media from about 5 o'clock, or the results will start popping in there.
Colin, I wanted to ask you about your favourite actor and actress. Now, I think actress, you've made it pretty clear with Jessie Buckley.
Yeah, I think it will be.
Talk through the performances, though, of some of the actors and actresses that have lent them to get these nominations.
Well, Jessie Buckley, the reason that her performance has really captured the hearts and minds of the voters is because she gets to go through the whole gamut of emotions. She gets to fall in love, she gets to give birth twice, she gets to grieve, and it is a film which really has captured the heartstrings of people, has left people feel emotionally vulnerable. In fact, it's interesting as well, the Chloe Zhao that we've talked a lot about, she used to think it was such an intense film for the cast and crew that every week she would end the filming with a dance party. On the day of the nominations, she put out how when the film finally wrapped, they all danced to Rihanna's We Found Love in a Hopeless Place. Tonight, I think Hamnet is going to be the film that's going to be on the dance floor at the after-show party celebrating a Best Picture win.
And just briefly, that complexity of Jessie Buckley's character in Hamnet that you mentioned, it's the similar complexity of character for Robert Aramayo in I Swear.
Robert Aramayo, we've given a lot of airtime this afternoon because there's a role that really stood out to us, playing the Tourette sufferer John Davidson, who was here today and really enjoying himself on the red carpet. I think he cannot quite believe that his story of being a Tourette's campaigner has been turned into a film, and that kind of sums it up in some ways, that at the BAFTAs you get the massive Hollywood films, your Sinners, your One Battle After Another, and then you get the British films, your Pillions, your Ballad of Wallace Island, and your I Swears that will be sharing screen time tonight.
Colin, thank you very much, and that brings our coverage of the red carpet here at the South Bank Centre to an end. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you to Colin Patterson, Lisa Mazimba and Noor Nanji, and Katie Razzle, who've been with us earlier on. Just a reminder, you can follow this on the BBC News website. We have a live page up and running, which will be on throughout the awards ceremony, and you can watch the programme at 7 o'clock live on BBC One. 7 o'clock BBC One for the awards ceremony coverage, the awards ceremony itself starting shortly. But for now, from me, Colin, and the rest of the team, thanks for watching. Enjoy the evening.